The Brazil national team shirt is everywhere in the crowd. Yellow fills the frame from above. People wear it over jeans and hoodies. Some tie it around the waist. Green and yellow flags rise above heads. Posters sit on the same shoulders that usually carry matchday scarves. Cars and buses are slowed or stopped. Chants move through the avenue in waves. This is Avenida Paulista in São Paulo in March 2015. It is a large street demonstration against the federal government. There is no stadium entrance, no kickoff, no team on the field. The shirt is not being worn to be seen at a game. It is being worn to be seen in public. For football, this shirt is the most visible sign of Brazil on the pitch. That is why it matters when it appears in the street like a uniform. Most people file that image under one simple idea. The shirt was taken over. It stopped being football clothing and became political clothing. After that, it became hard to wear without being red. That memory keeps the discomfort intact because the discomfort is real. For many Brazilians, the yellow shirt had been a way to show the country without choosing a side. On a match day, it could mean support, participation, even relief, something shared that didn't require a speech. Seeing it fill a street demonstration felt like losing a common language. But the takeover version skips what is visible in the image itself. Nobody needed a stadium for the shirt to work. No one needed a ball, a team, or a kickoff. The color and the crest were enough. The crowd did not look like fans waiting for a match. It looked like a public uniform. It also skips how ordinary the shirt had become by 2015. It sat in shops and closets, in cheap replicas and official versions. It was built to be read quickly by strangers and cameras. The unease is not only that it appears in the street, the unease is how easily it still reads as Brazil when football is absent. The yellow shirt works because it was built to be read fast. In football, a national team has to be identifiable from far away and from above. Color does that work before faces do. The crest does the rest. In a crowd, it becomes a simple visual sentence. This many bodies are Brazil. When the shirt is common enough, it becomes available as a default public costume. Cheap replicas and official versions keep the same basic cues: yellow field, crest. The meaning is not in the fabric quality. It is in what the shirt lets a stranger read at a glance. For a lot of people, that was the comfort of it. On a match day, it could be worn without explanation. It let you belong without speaking. Cameras reward what they can recognize instantly. In a stadium, a wide shot compresses thousands of people into one color. In the street, the same camera logic applies. A crowd becomes legible from a distance when it shares a simple marker. The yellow shirt, already trained as a national signal, makes a street demonstration easier to picture as the country, rather than as a group with specific demands. A close shot holds on the crest on a moving chest. The fabric is just yellow, but the badge turns it into a specific claim. That does not require anyone to mention football. It only requires the shirt to be present and the camera to treat the crowd as a mass that fits in one frame. Then the shirt starts doing a second job. It becomes a way to claim public majority without counting, by supplying an impression of scale and sameness. A far shot looks down and the crowd becomes a single yellow surface. Individual faces are no longer the unit. For someone watching at home, that impression can be persuasive. The crowd looks coherent. The country looks like it is wearing one thing. Later, it's folded or tied like ordinary clothing, still readable at a glance. On Avenida Paulista, there is no match to anchor interpretation, but the same yellow field appears. This is where the earlier takeover memory begins to feel incomplete. The shift is not only about who wears the shirt, it is about what the shirt has already been trained to do in public space. When people bring it into the street, the shirt carries its stadium meaning with it: national presence, unity, belonging. And that creates a problem for the same object. If the shirt can make a public rally look like Brazil from a distance, then wearing it stops being neutral. It lets one group borrow the country's face, and anyone without it becomes easier to mark. A wide shot can't carry reasons, it carries a surface. Yellow becomes the story before faces do, and the same image can be repeated anywhere. A phone clip doesn't explain why people came, it only shows what they look like together. A broadcast camera doesn't count, it suggests. The shirt makes that suggestion easy. From a distance, it can turn a mixed crowd into a single picture before you know what anyone is asking for. Then there is the crest. The crest turns plain yellow into a specific claim. Keep the crest, and you get categorized fast. Avoid it, and you lose the recognition the shirt was designed to deliver. In lived terms, it feels like the shirt speaks first, and you spend the rest of the moment correcting what it said. That correction is usually impossible in the moment. You do not get a caption, you get a glance. A stranger reads the badge and thinks the reading is finished. You can be standing next to someone wearing the same shirt for a completely different reason, but the surface looks identical. Context used to do quiet work. Stadium walls did it. Match time did it. Inside a stadium, the shirt is surrounded by a ball, a team, and a kickoff. Outside stadium walls, that pin is gone. The same shirt moves through spaces where there is no match to hold meaning inside football. In lived terms, it can feel like the shirt has lost the one place where it was safe to be simple. In the stadium, it is normal to be one color. Outside, the same uniformity stops reading as support and starts reading as a claim about the street. The shirt doesn't change, but the room changes the sentence the shirt appears to be saying. Avenida Paulista shows how these forces combine without coordination. The crowd reads as a single yellow field. That image does not show shops or closets, but it depends on them. It compresses many different reasons into one surface. 1,000 people can look like 10,000 if the color is consistent. 10,000 can look like everyone if the frame is tight. In that view, the shirt is not only clothing, it is a way for a camera to turn presence into a story of majority. Once that shorthand exists, the shirt begins to sort people even when they are not trying to sort anyone. Wearing it in the street becomes something others interpret as a choice of side. Not wearing it becomes an avoidance that can be noticed. The decision becomes bodily and social. Put it on and accept the glance, the assumption, the quick classification. Leave it in the closet and accept the strange feeling of not showing up for the team in the old way. In lived terms, it can feel like a shared language has turned into a test, and the test happens before you speak. You can't control the first reading, you can only anticipate it. Some people start building workarounds, a jacket over the shirt, something that covers the crest, anything that keeps the national feeling without triggering the same instant inference. Others lean into the shirt because it produces an immediate visual alliance. Either way, the street becomes a place where the shirt forces you to manage your appearance in a way football never asked. None of this requires anyone to declare a new meaning. It comes from the shirt's basic features doing their work in new places. A color that reads at distance, a crest that certifies the claim, and a camera routine that turns many bodies into one statement. Once that routine becomes familiar, the image is enough. The yellow shirt became a portable proof of Brazil beyond football because it was built to read instantly at distance, yellow first, crest second, and because cameras learned to treat a crowd in that shirt as a single image of national presence. Once street demonstrations and public rallies adopted that same proof often enough, the shirt started being read in public as more than support for a team. For many people, the lived meaning had been simple. On match days, the shirt let you belong without speaking. What changed is not that the feeling vanished, but that the same object began carrying two readings at once, depending on where it appears and what surrounds it. The shirt still does its old work on camera. Yellow still forms a field in a wide shot. The crest still turns plain color into a specific claim. In a crowd, the shirt still compresses thousands of bodies into a picture that looks like Brazil before you know anything else about the people inside it. The difference is that stadium walls no longer protect the meaning. Inside a stadium, the ball, the team, and the kickoff pin the shirt to football. In the street, that pin is missing. When the shirt fills Avenida Paulista, the image can be taken as a statement about the country itself, not only about a match. Saying, "It's just football," does not undo what the camera has already made legible. That leaves ordinary wearers with choices that used to be unnecessary. Some keep wearing the shirt and accept being read through that public lens. Others leave it in the closet and reach for other ways to signal Brazil that don't trigger the same instant inference. The national feeling does not disappear, it gets routed through substitutes because the shirt is no longer the safest way to be simple. This is ownership of meaning, not ownership of fabric. No one owns the cloth. But repeated staging can make a symbol feel claimed and can make a neutral act of wearing feel like taking part. Reversal is unlikely because the conditions that made the shift possible are still there. The shirt remains widely available in shops and closets. Cheap replicas and official versions keep the same cues. Cameras will keep rewarding mass color in a wide shot. As long as the shirt can produce an instant image of Brazil outside football, it will keep being used that way, and each new appearance will keep the second reading alive. So the yellow shirt still functions, it just functions in two registers at once. As football's simplest national sign and as a public signal that is interpreted before anyone asks why it is being worn.